So, apologies to non-sci-fi fans, non-Star Wars fans, non-movie fans, but this is serious stuff. I suspect this might be amongst the most debated of the blogs that I've done to date, as it's a subject that not only do few totally agree on, but also one that people get vehemently defensive and irate about in attempts to justify why they must be right and you must be wrong. This will start light-hearted, but I'll bet you a penny to a pinch of bantha fodder it won't end that way. So let us begin this debate at the best possible place, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So for the benefit of those not in the know, the below is the order in which the films were originally released. So yes, it starts with the 4th episode. Confused yet? You will be. You will be. So the creator of Star Wars, His Royal Highnessness Sir George Lucas of ILM, will try to convince you that he had a 9-part saga in his head all along, and will give his own, often conflicting, reasons as to why he started with episode 4. However, I've never personally bought the many explanations for this, and having investigated a little bit further, one of the following 2 reasons could hold the true answer. 1. George didn't actually know the correct order for Roman numerals. 2. George originally entitled the film Star Wars 1 V A New Hope, because apparently, according to WikiLeaks, he preempted the sci-fi horror cult TV show V and wanted to make a silver screen version of it first. However, his production team misread the title and or disliked the first manuscript and suggested a new strategy, and therefore didn't let the wiki win. It's a boring conversation anyway, and ultimately we don't really know the real truth, and in truth we probably don't really care. Either way, what he told you was true from a certain point of view. Anyways, rearrange the episode numbers and the actual storyline order of the films is thus. Now there's a whole other debate that could rage here. In which order should the Star Wars films actually be viewed? Original order versus chronological order. But I'm not going to do that here, as frankly I'm not a Jedi yet, and therefore I have no patience. Instead I shall offer up my preferred order of best to worst of the 6 films released so far, in reverse order, with a bit of bloggers commentary and a few pros and cons. And whilst you'll get your hair buns in a twist about it, I'll be checking out the Best Bin Hospitality Lounge for a few classics. Carbonite foam parties they have there always give me brain freeze. Ooh, a selfie of me there earlier. So, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. There's a line in Episode 4, A New Hope, that people often associate with The Phantom Menace. What a piece of junk. I think that's harsh. In fact, I'm going to contradict myself a bit and say that despite placing Phantom Menace as worst, I think I prefer the term least best, on the basis that I don't think it's as bad as many people make it out to be. It's clearly not as good as the other 5, but to me it still has the feel of A New Hope. Going to see this for the first time was the most expensive trip I've ever made to the cinema though, as I went to Dallas, Texas specifically to watch it. Why? Well, back then the UK was always at least 6 weeks behind in film release dates, and the hype was so great I just couldn't bear the wait. Like Yoda said, you must learn patience. Or rather he said it like, you must learn patience.
Patience!
So pros. Well, you get a first look at Coruscant. It's nothing like Scotland, I can tell you that much. And Natalie Portman is very worthy. I would, and I know you would too, wouldn't you? Keira Knightley can also be seen loitering in the background. Happy days. Cons. It's slightly too long. And the screen time of Jar Jar Binks. I don't actually mind the character, it's just the amount we see of him. And the funny bits. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon and Darth Maul's epic battle choreography wouldn't have looked out of place in a Cliff Richard movie. And also there are no nipples in space. True story. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. In the summer of 1983, the question being asked was, could Return of the Jedi top the drama of The Empire Strikes Back? Well no, it couldn't unfortunately. It's still got plenty of noteworthy, emotive and dramatic moments though, but almost feels a bit tired. And if only an alternative ending had been considered that didn't involve blowing up another Death Star, it might have hit greater heights. My lingering annoyance is this. The build of the first Death Star was started during the latter end of the Episode 2 Attack of the Clones storyline. And it clearly took the best part of 22 years to build. Yet the second Death Star somehow took just 4 years to be 90% completely built. I know you have advancements in technology, but really? Pros. So John Williams' operatic quality of the Vader vs Skywalker dual music score, top notch. Speaking of which, they replaced the Ewok celebration music, known as Nub Jub, with Victory Celebration in the special edition, and it's infinitely better. Admiral Akbar.
It's a trap!
Enough said. Cons. Just seems to drag a little bit here and there, and maybe suffers in its comparison to Empire Strikes Back. Funny bits. Well, I quite like the Imperial Scoutwalker getting its head smashed in by caber-tossing Ewoks. Okay, on to Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. It has to be said that Attack of the Clones was an improvement on Phantom Menace. Pace picks up quickly, and the proper seeds of what is to come are well and truly sown. The middle films in such series are often good. For example, Godfather Part 2, Back to the Future Part 2, Empire Strikes Back, obviously. It's usually when a whole lot of stuff starts falling apart at the seams, and that rule is prevalent throughout Attack of the Clones. It may be a touch heavy on the cartoon-like CGI, but it's just a kids' film after all, isn't it? Pros? Well, introducing Mace Windu's purple lightsaber, the AK-47. The very best there is when you absolutely, positively got to kill every MF in the first battle of Geonosis, except no substitutes. Back to the music, Anakin and Padme's love theme, more superb work from John Williams. And also Anakin's first proper steps to becoming Vader are evident when he slaughters Tusken Raiders galore. Oh, and one more. Christopher Lee. Any man with the balls to proudly display 3 nipples is worthy of a mention. Cons. Well, I hope Yoda isn't claiming any disability benefits in light of those astonishing acrobatics. Padme's 19 costume changes spread over just 3 scenes on Naboo. It's like a one-woman product placement campaign. Funny bits, Padme's instant recovery following her fall from a great height onto hard sand. Instead of bouncing straight up and making off like the Running Man, I think in reality she would have been in agony, raising her hand and screaming, "Medic!" Nice outfit though. Episode 4, A New Hope. That is no moon, that is a space station. So lots of folks will say that the first one is the best one, but I'm not so sure. However, I do agree that it has to be recognised as the groundbreaker, and without the success of A New Hope, we probably wouldn't have seen the others. Incredibly, I know people who have only seen A New Hope and have not even bothered to watch the others. How can they feel that their lives are in any way complete? Talking of completeness, why did the special editions continue to exclude the Ku Stark footage? If nothing else, the whole big scene near the end would have made a bit more sense, and his death would have provided some more poignancy. I've no idea who the other guy is in the back of this picture, but he looks like my driving instructor from 1993. So pros, special effects. No one had ever seen anything like it before, and it hasn't dated badly either. Blue milk, and the Death Star trench battle sequence at the climax of the movie. In a few short cinematic minutes, George Lucas invented Minecraft. Con, well, here's some controversy for you. I actually find C-3PO irritating in A New Hope. Maybe that's the point though. Funny, obviously, the Stormtrooper clunking his helmet on a blast door, and Chewie roaring at the MSE mouse droid. Episode 3 then, Revenge of the Sith. You can imagine the 20th Century Fox boardroom meeting. No pressure or anything, George, but this is the big one. This will provide the answer to the biggest question Star Wars fans have been asking for years. How, exactly how, will you transform stroppy, emo, teen, wannabe Jedi Master Annie Skywalker into the Sith Lord, I'm second in charge of everything in the whole damn galaxy, Darth Vader? Did he succeed in pulling it off, or are you still not happy? Well, personally I was satisfied with how it transpired, and the climactic battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end of the film was absolutely superb. As mentioned before, I love noticing a bit of choreographed dancing in my sagas. The only thing I'd change would be how Padme dies. When one is not especially ill, losing the will to live is more akin to the death of an elderly person, usually. Pros. Recognition of the vantage point known as the high ground. It's a real boon in any situation, so don't underestimate it or you'll lose your limbs.
Possibly.
Ian McDiarmid hamming it up as the Emperor. Brilliant. Cons. Okay, some of the dialogue is a touch corny on occasions, but this is Star Wars. And this memo stems from Harrison Ford telling George Lucas that I can't actually say this stuff even though you've written it down. Well, you did. Funny bits. Not hilarious, but 2 lines said by Ewan McGregor in proper Sir Alec Guinness mode. So uncivilised. And?
Hello there.
Well, it makes me smile anyway. And also Anakin's immortal romanticism. No, it's because I'm so in love with you. Lovely stuff. And so finally, on to the best one. So episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. What's not to like? Action, drama, comedy, romance, tragedy, all rolled into 120 glorious minutes of film. It's impressive. Most impressive. Not only is it most, not all, Star Wars fans' favourite movie of the series, it usually stands up well against the very best and top rated movies of all time. In fact, I'm not sure I need to say anything else really, save that I recently had a brief chat with a female at my workplace who staunchly claimed Return of the Jedi was far superior to Empire Strikes Back. She was terminated immediately, and I doubt anyone's actually going to miss her. Pros. The whole soundtrack. John Williams got a Grammy for this one. It should have been an Oscar. Probably going to get flamed for this, but I think Leia looked her absolute best in this one, even more so than in Return of the Jedi and in that gold bikini. Each to their own though. And of course the best line in a movie ever.
I love you.
I know.
Cons? None. Seriously, none. Funny. Yet another wardrobe malfunction for a stormtrooper in the carbon freeze scene. And also Lando seemingly struggled to stifle a giggle in the last scene. It's probably because he knows he's nicked Han's clothes. So there you have it. And it may be that you don't agree with me. If that's the case, then I find your lack of faith disturbing. But may the Force be with you anyways, or something like that. As for me, I agreed to go and clean C-3PO in exchange for getting smashed into oblivion on the spice mines of Kessel after writing this. It's a deal that's getting worse all the time.
This deal is getting worse all the time.